Okay, we're here today for another interview for our historical research. If you would, tell us your name and the year you graduated and maybe your favorite subject or class that you had in high school.
My name is Paul Reed. I graduated in 1958, and if I had a favorite subject, it would be agriculture.
What did y'all do in that class?
In agriculture?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we studied farming, forestry, and we also had a workshop that we made things, and I happened to make a cabinet, which I still have today.
Really?
And farm life, mostly.
Yeah, and I know you had said before the interview that your family were big farmers.
We were.
So that was something that was pretty useful to you then.
That's true, it sure was.
Right. Who was your teacher there?
Well, we had Mr. Vaughn our first year.
Okay.
And he died that year. And then we got a guy from, he was somewhere in Alabama, named McGee.
McGee.
So that's the last year we just took agriculture 2 years.
Okay.
So that's the last year that I had it was Mr. McGee.
And you mentioned to us when we were talking before the interview about what happened with Mr. Vaughn. So can you tell us briefly about that?
Back then, the school had a day of raising funds for certain projects, and this was a basketball game between the bus drivers and the teachers. And Mr. Vaughn didn't want to play, but some of the boys kept nagging at him, and he decided he'd come on. It was satisfy them. And my dad was a heavy-set fella, and he wouldn't play basketball, so I got to play in his place. And I happened to be in the game that day that he passed away. Be a sad occasion. But anyway, the donations, the money that was brought in was provided for a particular project in the school.
Okay. All right. So a typical school day, tell us kind of what y'all would do, how your day looked, so we can kind of compare it to these different decades that we've done the interviews for.
Well, one thing probably you don't do today is when the bell rings, you line up to go in the classroom. Now, see, we did that. That's the difference from that, and the school. I mean, the students had different classrooms to go into. So when we went in, it's just like a bird of quail. They just split off. You know, one in this room, 1, 2, 3 in this room, and that's.
So did y'all stay in that same classroom all day, or did y'all change around?
No. Well, we did have a homeroom, but our classes, depending on what subject we had, what room we went into.
Okay, so you still changed classes like
That's
they did
right, yes. Okay. But we started out in the homeroom, and we ended up at the end of the day in the homeroom.
Okay, yeah, that's different. We rarely go to homeroom now, maybe twice a semester.
Is that right?
To get report cards, maybe. So,
Right.
So we talked a little bit before the interview about how we know kids text and have cell phones now. So back when you were in high school, how did you communicate with like your friends at school and outside of school? Did y'all have any methods that y'all used?
Well, we used the telephone, to communicate with other students and other people. No, we didn't have any of this. What am I trying to say?
Cell phones and computers.
No, we didn't have cell phones or computers and such as that. It was just mouth to mouth or telephone.
Right. Did y'all write letters or anything like that much?
Probably some did.
Yeah.
I never had time.
Right, to write letters. What about some hangout spots or activities that you and your friends did outside of school? How did y'all spend your free time?
Well, they were day bars in Tupelo, and that we, of course, we didn't get to go every night. We maybe got to go one time on the weekend, and we'd sit around there and drink milkshakes and eat hamburgers if we had the money.
Right.
And,
about how much would that cost back then?
Oh gosh, you got a hamburger for $0.25, and milkshake was probably 10, 15 cents.
What kind of vehicles did y'all carry up there? Do you remember what kind of cars did y'all drive that you and your friends had? Do you remember?
Well, we didn't have convertibles.
Right.
That was a fancy car, you know.
Okay.
But we did have, after we got up in 11th, 12th grade, we did get, after we were working some, you know, on the weekends in grocery stores or whatever, we bought our own car.
Okay.
And I had a 54 Chevrolet was the first car I owned.
Really?
Bel Air.
Really?
And it wasn't a sharp car like some boys got to have, but
right.
it got us laying back.
Right. That's a big. My brother has a 55 Bel Air, but so I know how that's a big car.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
If it's, I'm
was.
sure it's pretty similar.
It was nice.
Yeah. What about music? What kind of music did y'all listen to in
No.
school? And how did you listen to that music? Now people just stream it into their earbuds and their phone.
No, we only all we had was radios.
Radios.
And some had TVs that they could see some of the artists on TV. But now Elvis was rocking hot at that time. We, 55, 56 and on through our years in high school.
So him being from this area, was he pretty popular with everybody here?
Yeah, but boy wanted to have the hair, like sideburns.
Really?
But that's he and Pat Boone,
Okay.
and all those guys. Some of the colored guys, Little Richard, Fats Domino. We loved all that music, and that's what we had in our prom night.
Okay.
Was that kind of music.
Did they play that on the radio, the record
No,
player?
that record player.
Okay. Record players are kind of making a comeback, honestly. People are liking the vinyl nowadays. I don't know. They think they're retro with it or something. Let's see here. Talk about any school events that you remember, like dances or games or pep rallies or anything that you can remember that kind of stood out to you thinking back.
Dancing wasn't allowed.
Really? Okay.
I do remember, I forgot now what kind of program it was, but it was us students, and Clay Gillum was the basketball coach, and Miss Susie Mae Ernest was the English teacher when she was our sponsor in the 12th grade.
Okay.
So I don't know. We had a meeting in the auditorium there one night, just seniors and them too, and they were playing music, and they did the jitterbug.
Really?
Now that was a sight.
I mean, see the teachers up here doing more dances. I bet y'all thought that was funny.
Oh yeah, but that's about all activities. We did. We had like I go back to the days, like I explained in the beginning. Each year, each grade had a project. Each one of them had a project, but who made the most money got a day off school.
Oh, okay.
So we would go to the fair in Memphis on our day off.
Y'all would drive there separately?
No, school bus carried us.
School bus,
up there.
okay.
Yeah, school paid for our trip up there. And other things, we last time that I can remember is in my senior year, we our 12th grade won the day off, and we went to Tombigbee State Park.
Okay.
Everybody brought a sandwich or whatever, and was going to have a picnic lunch. Clay Gillum was, as I said, the basketball coach. I don't know, something come up about smoking and chewing tobacco and all this kind of stuff, and he was going to be with us over there that day. I told him I'd like to have a chew of tobacco.
And what did he say?
He looked at me and he said, well, you buy a plug and I'll have a chew with you. So the day came and Pee Wee Simmons drove the bus to carry us over there in his bus. So Mr. Dewey Pierce had a store down here, and he told Pee Wee, said, "Stop, Pierce. Paul wants to get some tobacco." So I went in the store and I bought a plug of the day's work. So we got over there. I cut me off a chunk, handed it to him. He cut off a chunk. So we got to playing around there, and I come back. Well, it wasn't 30 minutes. He'd already spit his out. I said, "Where's your tobacco?" "Oh, I don't know." And he couldn't chew it. That's what it was.
Really? So the bus stopped and let you buy some tobacco.
He did.
That's so funny.
He did.
So did people smoke cigarettes at school? Was that allowed then? I know I've
They
done some interviews
did.
where they were allowed.
Yes, they had a certain place. Now the gym was out similar to where it is today, and beside it there was a tree there. So that's where the smokers stayed.
So was just anybody allowed to smoke, or did you have to bring a note
You
from
had to
home?
bring a note from home. Yeah, sure did. And I knew my daddy wasn't going to sign me a note, so I didn't smoke.
That's probably a good thing, though.
That's right. I did pick up the habit later on, but I shouldn't have. But that's the way it was. Another instance, Coach Gillum, he was a pretty good sized fella, and a good basketball player in his years. Well, they were putting a new roof on the gym during the summer. I don't know, Dad sent me over here for something. I don't remember what it was. Well, I stopped by. Well, he was up on the roof and he couldn't get down. Now, that was a sight to see. He tried and tried and tried. Well, I got kind of nervous, so I just left. I don't know how he ever got down.
I think he's still up there.
He may be.
So obviously y'all had basketball. What other sports did they have at the school? Because that was before football was here, right?
Oh, yes. Softball. Softball and basketball is all we had.
All right.
Yeah. And
So when you say softball,
softball.
like for girls to play, or baseball like
The girls
for boys?
didn't participate in the
So
softball.
it's softball for
but
boys.
they did basketball.
Okay.
But now that was back at the time to where they couldn't cross over center line.
They just played a half court.
That's right.
Okay.
But now it changed, shortly there.
Okay. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, it changed, but there are days that you wished you was at home.
Right. Well, thinking about how y'all's school day went compared to what kids now, kids in the 90s, etc., how do you think your schoolwork and studying was different? Like, I know you didn't really have any technology. Like, what were your main materials you used? How did y'all's learning look?
Okay, we had a library in the school, and we could get information from that, and then maybe some of the kids that didn't work in the summertime, maybe the bookmobile came by and they had read things, through the summer months, and you get a little knowledge from that.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly it was from word to mouth from teacher to student.
So they would just stand up and talk, and y'all
That's
took
right.
notes, that type of thing.
Mhm.
Chalkboards, maybe.
Yeah, they did have chalkboards. Mm-hmm.
Okay, textbooks.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, we hardly even use textbooks in school anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I don't in my class. I teach in 10th grade English, so we just have novels we read and things like that. So most of them use things on computer and things. So yeah, it's shocking because back even when I was in school in the 90s, we had to have a locker because we all had textbooks.
Uh-huh.
So
Well, you should have told me you taught English. I'd have kind of primed up a
Clean
little bit.
it's fine. Well, what about switching gears just a little to clothes and fashion? Like, do you remember anything that was kind of popular then that kids were like the in thing that they were wearing or wanted?
without a shirt, a white T-shirt.
Just a
blue
white
jeans.
T-shirt.
And the blue jeans, sometimes the boys would get long pants and turn them up, and it'd be that much turned up from the foot.
Just roll them up at the bottom.
Don't roll, just turn them up, just one
One
turn.
big time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen that in the
Yeah,
on TV.
yeah.
Did they roll their cigarettes up in their sleeve, or is that just on TV?
Cigarettes on one side, matches on the other.
Really?
Or cigarette lighter.
That's funny. Let's see. Anything else you can think of that students might find funny or surprising that y'all did that was probably common to y'all, but looking back, it was like they would think that was kind of. I know the smoking and the tobacco thing is one thing. So.
Yeah.
We talked about barefoot. Did y'all come to school barefoot ever? I know I talked to one other guy that said in the spring they didn't wear shoes to school.
That's
and
right.
He was older than you, but is that true?
Yeah, oh yeah. But now that was in grade school.
Okay, so when you were younger.
In high school and all, we thought we was dressed up, but we wasn't. But it's I can't think of anything that would.
Did any of the high school kids drive a bus?
I drove a bus my senior year.
Yeah. They would find that. I can't imagine Easton here driving the bus.
Pardon?
I can't imagine Easton driving a bus. I mean, maybe you, Easton,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
some of the others.
Is this your senior year?
Yes, sir.
He's the editor on the yearbook staff. So.
I see. Yeah. See, I brought the kids from Auburn district over, and I made that route over there. Then I came down and went to Skyline and turned there and came back, and then turned on the old highway. If you know where Ed Summers lived there, and then I followed the old highway all up, and that was the last. I believe he was the last. His children was the last ones I picked
Really?
up.
Well, speaking of Ed Summers, we're trying to find some information on him, and I've actually texted back and forth with his daughters because the softball field is named after him. So do you have any information on Mr. Summers? Do you know anything
No,
about him?
I really don't. I knew him.
Was he working at the school when you were here or no? I think he was a board member. Is what
Yeah,
I
that's right. I don't think he ever worked what
Worked
you
at Mooreville,
would say
okay.
he worked here. I don't think so.
But
Now,
you
he
knew
could've.
of him.
Oh yeah, yes, I knew him. And his wife and of course his family. And that's when I told you the other day about you was asking about somebody, and I thought you was talking about some Ed's family, and I gave you the wrong name.
Okay.
But no, maybe I was talking. Did I talk to you about that? Or
You talked to me, and you probably talked to Miss Fowler too. So I've talked to so many people here recently, I get it mixed up.
did you say her name was Ballard? No,
I think one of them's name
no,
is a
no,
Ballard.
no. I'm talking about the lady.
Oh,
who talked-
Fowler.
Fowler. Is that Kenneth's daughter? Kenneth Huss's daughter?
I know her mama's name is Ann.
Yeah, that's her. She
Yeah,
used to,
okay.
Ann used to teach here.
Yes.
Yeah, that's her.
I've got to interview her at some point. So.
Who's that, Ann? She can tell you a lot, I
Yeah,
imagine.
I think that's what Miss Fowler said. So.
I can't give you much information on anything that's different. And of course, there is a lot of difference too. We look forward to recess. We look forward to the lunch hour, and of course, going out in the hot days, dry days, we'd play softball, and then the winter months, well, we tried it. I'd only played basketball the last year I was here,
Okay.
but R.C. Tennyson was our coach then.
Your senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, and he lived at Auburn, so he and I both drove a bus from there over here.
And you said you went to Auburn until the 8th grade and then moved to Mooreville in the 9th grade.
Uh huh.
Now, did Mooreville School, it went primary up, but just the Auburn kids would go there and then move here, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So while you were in high school, can you think of any historical events that y'all experienced that may have impacted you or your classmates' lives that you can remember?
I really can't. I don't remember anything that.
Nothing stands out.
Out of the ordinary. I really can't.
So looking back, since you graduated in 1958, can you think of any advice that you would give to any students from today? Anything that you would tell them as they get ready to graduate and go out into the world?
My suggestion would be to stay in your books. That's something I didn't do, and I see that you need to do that, and get on the teacher's side. They can help you a lot if you let them.
Right.
And that's what I try to do. Stay friends with my teachers. But I had one of Miss. I was talking about Miss Comer. She's still living.
Mm-hmm.
We had bookkeeping and typing in the same room, but it had a partition between it, but glass. And when she was over there teaching, she could see what's going on over here, and it's vice versa. Well, Howard Carthen and I was taking typing. We were the only two. So she let us sit over there in the typing, and she taught shorthand on the other side, bookkeeping. One of the questions was, what is the size of a sheet of typing paper? I thought, my gosh, she ain't never told us what size, and I ain't never paid any attention to it. Well, we were sitting right together. Right here she come over there. You never told us what size the sheet of typing paper is. Well, she was just grinning from ear to ear. Just tickle her to death. Well, you probably don't remember, but back then they had what they call a blue horse paper. It had a wrapper around it, and it was about that like that, and it had a blue horse on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right below it was the size of the paper.
She hadn't paid attention to it.
She was just grinning, and I looked down. Oh, well, I'll be darned. There it is right there.
Was this a test you were doing, or just like...
Test. Well, she didn't say nothing. She just walked back away. Ah, gracious.
That's funny. So can you think of any other stories or anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up your video here?
Well, I can't think of anything, any more than I've already told you.
Mm-hmm. Well, we appreciate you coming in and talking to
Well,
us.
I've enjoyed talking with you, and I hope you get some information you can use.
Yeah, well, it's been fun, and we've really enjoyed doing this project. We've learned a lot and met a lot of people, so we thank you.
Good.